Love.
Hey guys, we are here today, this morning, with Hayley Bohan, who is the founder of Marketing on Purpose. And she's here, she's joined us today to actually talk to us about how we can motivate people to buy from us. So if you are looking to start a business, if you are already a business owner, then today's talk is just for you. So the first thing that I want to ask everybody is, if you are a business owner or if you plan to start a business, I want you to comment and let us know what kind of business you have. So what we're going to do is basically, by the end of this talk, we're going to have the opportunity to actually walk away with knowing what the number one thing that we can do today to start motivating people to buy from us. Because as a business owner, I'm not sure about you guys, but for me personally, I want to make sure that I am getting the most customers, and not only just getting customers, but getting the right customers. So without further ado, we will be bringing Hayley on here in just a short few minutes. But in the meantime, if you know anybody who you feel could benefit from this talk, I want you to think of a person who owns a business or maybe thinking of running a business, and just tag them here in the comments within the video. And also feel free to go out and share the video as well. We'll be getting started here soon. So I'm just gonna jump on over here to see if I can see anybody commenting. I see Tal is on. Hey Tal. Tal says, I am an instructional designer and a graphic designer. Yes, with Chuka Media Group. Tal is very talented. I know Tal personally. Perfect. So, and I see there are a few people jumping on, but we're just going to give it a few minutes because Facebook it takes a minute or two for it to kind of go out there and find people. So we will just give it just a minute or two, wait for some more people to jump on. If you're a business owner, if you're starting a business, let us know what kind of business you're in. I want to know. Let's see here. All right, so who's excited to find out what are some things that we can do to motivate more people to buy from us? I see this all the time. Me personally, starting a business, there's so much to do. And I find that there are a lot of things that some business owners miss when starting a business. And it's so crucial in terms of getting those customers and motivating customers to buy from you. So I'm really, really excited to bring Hayley on today. She's got some wonderful things to talk about. She comes from a background with lots of experience, almost 20 years of experience in marketing, working with big companies like Moose Light and Swiss Chalet, helping them with their strategic marketing plans and helping them really grow companies. So I know that Hayley is going to have a lot of really great things to share with us today. I see Kelly's jumped on. Let's see. Oh, okay. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm using this new platform, and it's still, I'm still just getting a little bit used to it. So let's see. We've got Laura McPhee. Good morning. Good morning to you. And we have Erica saying she's hoping to start a business, helping gyms with member recruitment and retention. Very interesting. I like it. And hey, Kelly. She says, I am a full-time independent consultant with Tiber River Naturals, selling a natural Canadian made bath, body, and home products. Recruiter and team developer. You said it, girl. And then we have Sienna. Hey, girl, how are you today? Awesome. So I see everybody's kind of jumping on, and I see my Nan's jumped on. Hey, Nana. I'll probably be over later on for a good supper. All right, guys. So I see more people are jumping on. We got Shannon Manuel. Hey, Shannon. And awesome. So we've got some more ladies jumping on. Like I said, girls, if you know anybody who you think could benefit from this talk, just tag them in the comments. And that way they can, if they can't jump on right now, they can jump on later and catch the replay. Also, one other thing I want to mention, Hayley has been so kind to put together something for our SCIPLE members exclusively. So stick around to the end. She's going to have something there for you guys. And if you are not a SCIPLE member within the group, all you have to do is just go into the group and join as a member. That's it. All right, girls. So without further ado, let's bring on our special guest, Hayley. All right, there you are. Hey, Hayley. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm so excited to have you on and to share with us. I'm going to just give you the floor for a second so you can give everybody a little bit of an introduction of yourself.
Sure. I have just started my own company about 8 weeks ago, maybe 9 weeks ago now. And it's been a dream of mine my whole life, and I'm sure that some of you can relate to that. So my business is about helping other people's entrepreneurial dreams come true. And I do that through helping them to build a foundation for their business and to learn how to sell it and sell what their product or service is in a way that people are actually going to care about what they're saying. So that's sort of in a nutshell what Marketing on Purpose is about. And then on a personal level, I'm a mom. I am a wife. I love the outdoors. I have a cute cute big dog, and he may interrupt us, but hopefully not.
No worries. Thank you so much, Hayley. Really, really excited. So let's just dive right into this. So I want to ask you this one question that I'm just like dying to know. What is the biggest mistake that you see entrepreneurs doing today?
So the biggest thing that they're doing is what I call roll the dice marketing. And that's just basically taking all these ideas that they have to try to drum up business and just throwing them at the wall. You could also call it throw shit at the wall marketing. So basically, the problem with that is that you're spending a lot of time and you're spending a lot of money doing things that might not resonate or matter to your customers, and maybe doing things that they're not quite ready for. So I think to fix that mistake, so the biggest mistake is that they don't have a strategy, that they're just doing and doing and doing without having a reason why they're doing it. So there's two kinds of strategies in marketing. There's like a brand strategy, and then there's a marketing strategy. So the brand strategy is all about who you are as a business. What's your purpose? What's your competitive advantage? Who are your customers? What do they care about? Why do they care? Why would they care about your business? What's the emotional reason why they care about your business? All of that is part of the brand strategy. And all of that has to be figured out before you start throwing shit at the wall. We're all going to throw shit at the wall. We want to throw shit that smells good.
I love it. I want you guys to comment yes if you have been one of those people who has actually just done exactly what Hayley has just described. I know for me personally, 100%, I have been one of those people, one of those entrepreneurs who has done that. I love how you broke that down. And I think that that's so important when you say there's your brand strategy and then there's your marketing strategy, because I think when you become an entrepreneur, you don't necessarily dive into entrepreneurship knowing everything about business, knowing all the foundations and everything, right? Because we are those kind of people where we just have so many hats to wear. So I think it's really, really important to really get that foundation and the separation between the two and knowing where to start, because when you have that down pat, from there you can just kind of flow with everything else. Does that make sense?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. So it's the brand foundation has to be built, and it's built around your customer, And it's not built around assumptions. And I think that that is another mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs and also even professional marketers make, is that they make assumptions about what's important to their customers, what their customers like, what they do. They kind of skip that research step that has to come first.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, you could then be creating marketing later on and campaigns and talking to people about things that they don't care about. Or about things that they might care about, but that don't trigger buying behavior.
Right.
So you really need to don't make assumptions, because if you assume that your customers are buying your product because they just want to grow, like for me, if I assume that people are buying my product because they want to grow their business, so they can make lots of money and have financial freedom,
Mm-hmm.
that might be the case. And then I would put that out in my messaging, because that would be an emotional reason why they would want to work with me. But what I know from talking to my customers is that they feel lost, they feel frustrated,
Mm-hmm.
they feel alone. And the reason they want my business is so that they don't need to feel that way anymore. Right. And so that they can then confidently go out and grow their business. So there's a difference, and there's a difference in the way that I will talk to people in my business, because I know the real emotional reason why.
Okay. So I like where you're going with this, because I think this goes on a deeper level other than just business, in just a transaction, goods, a service for money. You're kind of going a little bit deeper in terms of what our customers are thinking, what they're feeling, what their problems are, and how we can serve them on that level. And then customers will just come. Are you able to just kind of walk us through that a little bit more, Hayley, to give us a better understanding of how it all works?
Sure. So the marketing strategy, the brand strategy is the foundation. And then the marketing strategy is all the stuff that you're doing to actually get customers, right?
Okay.
So you build the foundation around your customer, and you build it around your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of entrepreneurs sort of have a purpose in their head, probably why they're doing what they do. But you really need to focus on your purpose in all of your efforts, because marketing is, and people, not marketing, people are emotional,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you need to be able to talk to them on an emotional level. And if you think about, this was an interesting thing that I read one time, which was about biology. So our brains have two kind of parts to them. One is the rational part, the analytics, ration, all that stuff. The other part of the brain is the emotional feeling part. Well, guess which part of the brain manages and is in charge of decision making?
Can anybody guess that? Can we give people a minute to guess that? All right. If you guys know the answer to that, I want you to comment right now what you think the answer is. I'm going to take a guess. My guess is the emotional side of our brains that, make the decisions in most of our daily actions. I know for me earlier this morning, just getting ready in my routine, it was all based on a lot of emotion, right? As opposed to rational. Sometimes, the rational side wants to kick in. Laura says emotional. Barb, she says emotional. And Erica, she says emotional. Okay, so a couple of ladies here are saying emotional. So Hayley, you let us know. What
Right.
is it?
Yeah, so it's emotional. So if it is the emotional part of your brain that is making decisions and making buying decisions, why are we going out and telling people what we do instead of why we're doing it?
I like
Right?
that.
Why are we telling people about all these features and benefits and logical reasons why they need to choose our product when people aren't making decision on that. They're making a decision on, do they trust you? Do they admire you? Do they like you? Do you stand for something they care about? Are you going to give them a feeling that they want to have?
Right.
Right? So I can give you a example of a story, I guess, if we've got the time, which which I think will help people to kind of grasp this. So does anybody know what diamonds are made of?
That's a good question.
Diamonds are made of carbon.
They're made of what?
Carbon.
Oh, carbon. Okay.
Yeah. So in like the early 1900s, diamonds were like an okay gem. People didn't really associate anything with them. They actually thought that rubies and like these blue ones, I can't remember what they're called, like those sapphires were more valuable than diamonds.
Okay.
So people gave each other those as gifts. Well, a company who had kind of the monopoly on the diamond industry wanted to be able to sell their diamonds to people. They wanted people to want them. So instead of talking about, oh, we have a pretty ring, a pretty diamond, they said, what is the biggest, most important emotion that people have? And the answer was love.
Oh, okay.
And then they dug a little bit deeper, and then the answer became eternal love, forever love. So this company went on a mission to make diamonds, this piece of carbon, basically, synonymous with eternal love.
Okay.
So before that, very few people bought diamond rings to share and to like propose to somebody, ask them to marry them. It was like 10% or something, and they weren't necessarily diamonds. They were just engagement rings. So after 4 years of like telling people and talking to people about how this diamond equals love, diamond equals love, diamond equals love, in numerous different channels, in numerous different ways, all of a sudden people started thinking, I need a diamond. Because that shows my love. So they played on that huge emotion. Rationally, a diamond loses value, the day after you buy it, right? But emotionally, people were buying that story. They wanted something tangible to show their commitment. So,
I love that. Yeah. It really does, and really brings things into perspective. In terms of like that emotional desire between, I want to say, people in general. But as business owners, we tend to skip that completely. So this is great stuff. Hayley, what's one thing that we could do today that could start motivating people to buy from us?
I would say talk to your customers. So, and it's a little bit more than that. You really, 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 and I cannot stress this enough, need to get to know your customers on a more intimate level. You can't, make any assumptions about them. And if you just start talking to people, and one of the things that you can ask is, what was the journey that led you to becoming my customer? And if you just let them talk, you're going to learn a lot of information. But have them kind of start back. So if they start with, well, I saw you posted something on Facebook, and so I thought I would try it, that's not good enough. So you want to go back and say, okay, what did you see on Facebook? What was it about that triggered you to take action? Did you have any other decisions? So there's like a bunch of questions that you can ask, but basically you want to know from start to now, from start to finish, what triggered them to know that they needed your solution, what triggered them to choose you, and then what were all the steps that they took to get to you. So it's really, really important. And then as you're talking to people, always ask why. Like, ask it so much that it becomes almost uncomfortable. And I do that all the time with my students. And like I've had students crying. Because it is emotional. And if you peel back those layers,
Mhm.
you're going to find that one nugget that is going to make all the difference for you, and that is actually going to be able to motivate buying behavior.
That's,
So yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, so that I would say is the biggest tip. Get to know your customers.
Okay. And that's amazing. I love that. And a lot of the marketers and successful people that I study that's what they're doing. They're going out and they're asking their customers, they're surveying, they're doing polls to find out what it is that they want and what their trigger points are, as opposed to saying, hey, I have this amazing product, buy it, buy it, buy it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would be a tip for people who may not have started running a business, so may not have generated customers yet, so they don't have customers to talk to? What about people who have zero customers? What would be a tip for them to go out and learn about, I guess, their ideal customer?
Okay. So what you need to do is create a buyer persona. And I don't know, probably some people don't really know what that means, but basically it's a fictional representation. And this is for everybody, not just people who don't have customers yet. This is for everybody.
Okay.
It's everything you do from a marketing perspective, you should only be doing it to one person. You should be creating a fictional representation of your ideal customer. So you need to know a ton of stuff about them. And then you should be using that to guide your messaging. So when I'm creating my website, I've got Brave Brenda, who is my fictional entrepreneur, in mind. So everything I write, I'm writing to just Brave Brenda. Will Brave Brenda care what I'm saying in the way that I'm saying it? So if you don't have customers yet, the way you're going to do the research is you're going to try to figure out who your target audience is going to be. And then you have to find people who would fall within that target audience. And you're going to ask them specific questions about your line of business, about how they do research online, about some of the challenges that they have. I actually have 2 persona questionnaires that one is for if you have customers, and it gives you a bunch of questions you can ask. And the other one is if you don't have customers, here's some questions you can ask to get the answers you need. And I would say as you start to get customers, you're going to want to put it in your calendar, like 6 months from now, I'm going to ask my actual customers the other questionnaire, and make sure that the foundation that you've built is solid and it actually represents the customers.
That's great. It's funny because like as you're talking, and I'm learning a lot of this stuff recently too, Hayley. So some of it's familiar, some of it I'm learning more, and I'm having aha moments too, because I'm thinking, in terms of like the buyer persona and knowing your ideal customer and trying to figure, really connecting with your customers is like an ongoing thing with business. Is that what you would say?
Yes. Yeah. And marketing is an ongoing, evolving evolution. It's a journey. It's not a destination. No matter how good your marketing is, it can always get better. No matter how bad it is, there's always room to get better. And the way to get better is to gain a deeper understanding of the emotional reasons and the emotional benefits that your product and service can give people. And if you have like a commodity, say you're selling soap, right? And it's not a service, and so that's why I say you need to really know your purpose in business, right? Because you want to create a connection with people, whether it's, like if you think about Apple, like the iPhones and stuff, their purpose, or their kind of like why they're in business, is because they don't believe in the status quo, right? So they want to be innovative and different, And if you want to be innovative and different and that matches with what you're doing, then you can buy a computer. Well, a computer is a commodity. So many people buy computers. I actually just bought a computer for my business, and I cheaped out and bought not a Mac, which is what I was used to having, and I don't feel as good about it. I'm almost like embarrassed that I don't have the little Apple on the back of my computer. But the computer I have is powerful and it does what I needed to do, and it was like $300 less, and so I bought it. But they have trained me so well to think like it doesn't represent who I am, because I am not status quo. Mm-hmm. So I have that emotional connection with them.
That's really interesting. And even more so, what's interesting is that when you create your content copy, when you created your website, all of your marketing for your new business, you create it for one person, and her name was Brenda. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. You create it for one person. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, I was trying to be everything to everyone for such a long time. And how stressful and overwhelming is that? And if I could sit down and actually, and I still haven't even done that, like sat down and said, okay, I'm going to write this copy, I'm going to create this and this, and it's going to be for that one person. Like how easy and how much of a weight is lifted when you look at it that way. I love it. That's a good one. Girls, take note of that. So, Hayley, I know that we're kind of running out of time here, and I want to give some of the ladies a chance to ask their questions to you while you're still here, and then we're going to end it off with your special goodies that you have for our SCIPLE members. Okay. So I'm just going to scroll down here. I saw that Barb says, how do you go about getting them to make them your customer?
So there is a zillion different ways that you can, depending on your business, that you can actually create awareness for what you're doing. And when you're marketing, you've got to think about it like you're not trying to persuade and trick people to buy what you're selling. What you need to do is figure out who your ideal customer is and get your message in front of them, because you're going to help them. They have a problem that you are going to solve, right? And so you need to get in front of them. And the ways to do that are, I mean, there's zillion ways that you can do that, but you need to pick the way that your buyer persona tells you she wants or he wants to be spoken to. So if your buyer persona is on Facebook all the time, and you're a small business and budget's a concern, Facebook is a fabulous way to reach people. But if you have the buyer persona, you're going to know what to say to trigger them. So not only are you going to get in front of them in the channel that they want to be in, but you're going to know what to say to motivate them, to bring them closer to trusting, liking, admiring.
I love that. Another thing that, sorry girls, if you guys have any questions at all, please leave them here in the comments, and Hayley will do her best to answer them for you guys for the next few minutes. I do have one question for you, Hayley, because you talked about target audience. Now I know what target audience is, but some of the women in here may not know that term. Are you able to explain a little bit more about what target audience is?
Sure, yes. So when you have a product or a service, there's a group of people who are going to get the biggest benefit from that product or a service. Those are your target audience. And the more narrowly that you can define who that person is, what that group of people are. So it could be a demographic, it could be age, occupation, it could be interest, it could be family makeup. It could be something psychological, but it's a group of like people that then your persona becomes kind of the front of that group. So all this target market is all the people,
Mm-hmm.
and your buyer persona is the one person that represents all of the commonalities within that group.
Okay, that's great. I love how you just explained that. Very clear. Kelly asked, she says, what's the key way or ways to stand out from the crowd when it comes to social media marketing? That's a good one. That's a good question, Kelly.
That is a good one. I would say you need to make sure that you're talking to the people who are your ideal customers, because you'll stand out. There are some tricks in terms of like standing out, like on social media. This is more marketing than branding, but on social media, videos are viewed, 80% to 150. I can't remember if it's 80%. I think it's 80% more often than, like, people will click on something if there's a video, 80% more than if there's just an image. There's also, some research that's been done lately that says, we're bombarded with all these beautiful pictures. Some people are finding that if they just do like a color block with a little bit of text on it for the picture, people will notice it more, because it doesn't like just become it stands out, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew what you were saying, girl.
So there's tons of tips and stuff that you can get, and I know, like, Erica Waddell, who's in SCIPLE, I know that she is like a guru with Facebook. So she would be a great person to talk to about, once you have your message and you know who you're talking to and what you're going to say, how to get it in front of them.
Right. Because there's so many levels. It's like there's marketing, and then you can just like go deeper, and then you go into social media marketing, and go deeper. So it can be very, very overwhelming at times. But I think your message to Hayley is just going back to the basics in the simplicity of know your customer, know their problems, and then figure out how you're going to solve and get in front of them where they're at.
Yeah. And get in front of them with a message that means something to them, right?
Yeah.
And don't ask them to marry you before they know you. So I know that you and I, Whitley, had talked about this the other day, and it's the whole, when you're on Facebook or any platform, if you're just meeting someone and you have no relationship with them, don't ask them to buy right away. Mm-hmm. So putting up an ad that says, buy, I'm a personal trainer, here's a 20% discount, come to me. Like, it won't happen. It's the same. You can kind of equate it to real life, right? So if you meet someone and they say, hi, I'm Hayley, and then the next thing they say is, will you marry me? Like, it doesn't make sense. So there's a process, and there's a journey. There's a buyer's journey, and you need to be cognizant of where someone is in the relationship with you as you're putting out content on social media.
So when you say in the journey of the relationship with you, is there actually stages of a relationship that you have with your buyer, your customer?
Yeah.
There is. Oh, yeah. I could pick your brain for hours, in which I definitely will be. That's another thing that we'll have to mention coming up here. I'm going to take one more question, if that's okay, Hayley.
Yep.
Okay, so Erica Lynn, she says, how do you build trust with a potential customer when you're a new entrepreneur and don't have a track record of successes yet? That's a good one too.
Yeah, so that's a really good one. So you have to build, like I said, you have to build your foundation. And part of that foundation and part of that brand structure, I call it the brand framework, is reasons to believe. Mm-hmm. And reasons to believe are things that you can say to people to have them trust you. So you might not have customer testimonials yet, and that's okay. You're going to get them, and you might have to do some free work to get them. But you have to get them. You have to build credibility for people to trust you. But it's also like, okay, I'll give you one quick tip and then one kind of harder thing. So the harder thing is that you have to dig deep and figure out, why are you uniquely qualified to solve the problem that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So is it your education? Is it, the oodles of research that you've done? Is it a life experience that you've had? What is it that makes you uniquely qualified to help them? Okay. So that you need to dig deep and you need to look at it, and then you need to be able to articulate that in a way that people are like, okay, yes, I believe that you can do this. The other thing is you may need to do your service for free. Nope, sorry. You may need to do your service for free to get testimonials. And if you do a good job and you have a good service, you're going to get referrals. That's just the way it works. People want to help their friends. People want to help. And if you do something really good for them, they will share your information. The other easy thing to establish trust, the one quick tip, it's a sales tip, and it's to talk to people. It's like a mirroring thing. And I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but when you're talking to someone face to face, if they're really like uptight and really talk fast and stuff, then you want to talk fast. You want to mirror what they're doing. People trust people who are like them. If they're really laid back when they're talking to you, then you want to be more relaxed. You want to talk slower. You want to be more laid back. So there's some sales tips that you can definitely learn that if you are talking to people will help as well, like just in the immediate while you're figuring out the rest of the stuff.
These are all really, really good tips. Thank you. I can tell you just like have oodles and oodles of information and expertise behind all of this. And there's so much psychology behind it too. And it also makes you think like business doesn't have to be as complicated as people make it out to be.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The more simple, the better. People really only can remember one or two things about you and your company.
Yeah.
Your job to make sure that they're remembering the things that are going to motivate them to like, trust, and admire.
Right. Okay, so quick question for you girls who are watching. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much value have you gotten from this talk? I know for me, it's 10, 100% 10 for me. Hayley, I do want to ask you a little bit about, oh goodness, I just totally had a brain freeze right there and my question just went out the window. It'll come back to me though. So I just wanted to, Kelly says, thank you for that great answer, Hayley. Erica says, thanks for the shout out, Hayley. And, oh, look at that. Amanda Hansen giving you a 12. Blast right out of the water. Everybody's saying 10. Erica, 10. Kelly, 10. Erica Lynn, 10. And Amanda, 12. Awesome. Okay, so let's just do a quick recap. I know we kind of just went a little bit over the time, but I think everybody's really enjoying this. If we could just do a quick recap of everything that we just talked about so that everyone who's watching can actually walk away and start implementing that one thing now. Could you do that?
Yeah, I'll have to do it quick because my phone is dying. I guess this takes a lot of, so if I got cut off, I'm really sorry. So the first thing you need to do is you need to take the time to build a brand strategy that is fueled by your customer and fueled by reality and not assumptions, and that is fueled and has an element of why you're in business and your purpose and your heart in it. So that's the brand foundation. You need to do that first. You need to build what I call, what is called a buyer persona. And I have a free gift for all of you. And I know I'm just going to say it because I'm running out of juice.
No worries.
So I have a free gift for all of you, which is some buyer persona questions for whether you have customers or you don't. I've got 2 different templates that will help you as you go and start to talk to your customers and give you ideas of things to ask them. So you need to, so number 2 is you need to talk to your customers and you need to start understanding their why, their emotional reasons about why they choose you. Those are the biggest things that I talked about.
Right. Okay, so Hayley, just before you go, could you give everybody a quick rundown as for your 12-week boot camp that you have, in which I have signed up, and I'm so excited to dive into this and pick your brain. So if you could like just give our SCIPLE sisters a quick rundown of what that's all about and how it may possibly benefit them.
Okay. So what I put together for you guys and for all my clients is a 12-week boot camp. And it's the boot camp that's going to help you build the foundation for your brand. The foundation that I'm saying that you need so that you know how to talk to people in a way that they're going to care. So the first half of the boot camp involves a lot of like coaching, training sessions, as well as some assignments that you're going to do. And you're going to figure out what's your sweet spot, what's your competitive advantage, what is your purpose. And some people have a hard time figuring out their purpose. And so this is when I make people cry, as I start digging back, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is why I'm doing it." So it's really fun. It's 6 really aggressive weeks on building the foundation, and then you're going to get me for another another 5 sessions on one-on-one execution stuff. So how are you going to bring that brand to life to get yourself the customers? What channels are you going to use? How are you going to talk to them? How are you going to turn that strategy into something you can use? So that's the 12-week boot camp. And I have a special offer for SCIPLE members, which we'll send you the link to.
Yes, I'm just dropping links right now in the comments. So anyways, I'm gonna drop those links in there for you girls. I think I dropped the link for the gift for SCIPLE members. I just want to say thank you so very much for joining us this morning, Hayley. Honestly, I got lots of value out of this, and I think a lot of the other girls did too. Thanks again very, very much. And yeah, so, and I will see you in the next week or so, because I will be heading over to that 12-week boot camp and getting super, super crystal clear on everything and my ideal clients and how I can better serve them. So ladies, if you have any questions at all, just drop them in the comments. If you found any value, which I'm sure you would, tell us your thoughts and share any ideas that you had from the talk. And if you know anyone who may benefit from the talk, tag them in the comments. All right, girls, so that's it for today's SCIPLE Talk. We will see you next time, and we hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye.